Hello, my love. As per usual, if you are finding this, there might be something in it for you. Now, I have had a headache all day. It's really strange because I haven't eaten anything that could have caused it. I haven't drunk anything that could have caused it. And today, I woke up super early. I went for my morning walk. It was really a really interesting walk, actually. But I went for my walk, meditated, came back, made breakfast, and I sat in bed and had breakfast. And then I suddenly just was like, no, and fell asleep for 6 more hours. I woke up middle of the afternoon and I was like, what just happened? And ever since then, I've had this crazy headache. So I don't know if you have also been either super called to rest lately, to take a break, to remind yourself that you're not always on a treadmill, that you don't have to always be doing all the things or working so hard. Or perhaps it's that you're not necessarily working so hard, you're not necessarily overdoing it, but right now there is so much going on. I don't know what we want to call it, the planets or the universe or God or timeline shifting or any of that, but there is so much happening, and everyone I talk to is going through some kind of massive initiation. And when that is happening, I think we don't take into account the tax that has on our physical bodies. When there is so much happening energetically, when there might be so much happening emotionally for us, or things coming to mind, or the mind fragmenting into a million different places to try and work out what to do with what's coming up in the body or the mind, that is so exhausting. It's so exhausting, and we don't count it most of the time because it's not like going to the gym, going to work all day, looking after the kids, making all the meals, getting the food shopping, cleaning the house. It's not this active outward thing, it's inward. But who's to say that's not the most important thing to consider when it comes to taking a break and resting? And this is why I meditate every day. I don't know what life would be like if I didn't meditate every day. And I always ensure that I start the day without social media or without anyone else's stuff in front of my face, because without that extra space for clarity, and maybe this is something that you need to really start to prioritize right now too, if you have been feeling this convolution, or what's the word that I'm looking for? Congestion of the mind, congestion of maybe all the potential pathways. Maybe it's not a congestion, maybe it's I think I said this in the last video, kind of like a tug of war between your old self and your new self, because I think you are a warrior woman, or a man if you're watching this. Most of you are women who are on here. You're a warrior. You've been through wild stuff and somehow still managed to be kind, somehow still managed to work on becoming a better person. And watching videos like this or tuning into channels of self-development, you still want to find all the ways that you can improve and become better. And even when that's super uncomfortable, which is also, by the way, something that could be exhausting you, that you might need to just take a freaking break from. And my question in this is, whether you're feeling the push and the pull, or whether you're feeling this congestion of all the different things in your mind and potentially your body right now, if your body's speaking to you through symptoms, because like this headache, there's always a message that the body is trying to communicate with us. And I love to teach this inside my programs, because there is always a message from the body. Every symptom, every sickness, every disease is always trying to converse with us and communicate what we need to address emotionally and what we need to address mentally, and potentially also outwardly as well, but it's usually an internal job. But my question to you is, whatever state that you might find yourself is have you been answering your deepest calling? Have you been answering your deepest calling? Or have you been dimming yourself to fit in? Have you been dimming yourself to be safe? Have you been dimming yourself to feel comfortable? because I get it. You've been through a lot. You're a warrior. You deserve a break. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel comfortable. And I wonder how it's going for you. I had to start the video again because I thought that it was using my headphone microphone, which would not have made any sound, but it wasn't. So we're all good. And I wonder how it's going for you, because sometimes when you're a warrior, when you have a calling, when you have a purpose that you know is there, you know you could be moving towards, but maybe it feels like more work and you've already been through so much, and why should you have to do more work, and why should you have to go after these great things, and why should you have to shine bright, and blah, 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 blah. I get it. You want to be comfortable, you want to be safe, you want to be in a place that you can feel like everything's okay and you can just relax. And I wonder a lot. I wonder how that's going. Does it work out when you steer away from the calling? Does it work out when you dim your light? Does it work out? Does it end up actually being safe? Does it end up actually being comfortable? Or does it hold a certain level of discomfort, just like if you were to go in the opposite direction, just like if you were to shine bright, just like if you were to go after that calling? What could start to happen if you trusted your path, if you trusted your weirdness, if you trusted your wildness, your warrior woman or man who has been through so much because you were meant to go through so much so that you could move through it, so that you could grow through it, so you could transcend it, so that you could help others, so that you could shine a light on that path that you're building that we talked about last time. Because if you knew you were being supported, if you knew that you would be safe, if you knew that you would be comfortable going in that direction, maybe not straight away. It's usually not straight away. If you know that, it's a big life hack. But if you knew that you would be supported going in that direction, what would you be doing day to day? What would you be doing differently? How would you be showing up differently? What conversations would you have? Who would you connect with? Who would you not connect with? What practices would you do to support yourself? What would you go after in the world that you want to do or be or create that you're not doing now? Because if you've been trying to stay safe, if you've been trying to stay small, if you've been trying to stay comfortable because you're exhausted, there are ways to take a break and still go after your calling. There are ways to take a break and still seek the next steps and the next brick in the path that you're building that's going to help others. There is ways to do both, right? And whenever I'm working with a client who's in what I call a busy season, because it's not always going to be intense, busy, so much going on. It's not always going to feel like you're having to work to build something, create something, transform your life, jump to a new timeline. It's not always going to feel like that. You will get comfort seasons. You will get slower seasons. And she's in a busy season. I've had many clients go through busy seasons. And during that time, maybe she can't do her 2 hours of slow self-care in the morning, but she can do 10 minutes, right? And so maybe it's a question of, where can you ensure you're doing that stuff to support you taking that mental nervous system break so that you can feel that softness and that safety from within? Because that's the only one that counts. There's no point dimming yourself to fit in around other people for them to make you feel safe and them to make you feel comfortable, because that's never going to work out. That's why it ends up uncomfortable. Probably just as uncomfortable as if you were going after the mission that you're on and the purpose that you're here for. What would you be doing differently if you knew that everyone around you would support you, that they would cheer you on? What would you be doing differently if you knew that you would be safe, that you would be protected, that there is a force working before you, there is support in the energy all around you, whether you subscribe to energy or God or source or any other religion? What if you tapped into that faith and trusted that, found your safety in that, found your comfort in that, right? Practice that support of your own system and transform that warrior woman past into something that's going to create that safety and security and protection and comfort in a whole new place, a whole new direction, a whole new timeline, whatever you want to call it. You could just stay in the same place the whole time, but you could travel, you could be in the same place, but it might feel totally different. There's so many different ways that this can go, but don't dim yourself to fit in anymore. If you're not feeling safe or comfortable doing that, then it's not working, right? It's not working because it's not supposed to work. You're meant to get uncomfortable. Otherwise you wouldn't have never have moved. You would never have gotten yourself out of those situations in the past that you worried your way through. Do you think you went through all of that just to play small and pretend to be someone that you're not, or pretend to be less than what you are, or be afraid to be the fullest version of yourself? Do you think you went through all of that and you rose through that and you still managed to be kind, and you still managed to be like supportive of others, or you still managed to work on yourself every day and take care of your health or take care of your family? Do you think you went through all of that and still managed to do that just to be less of yourself, just to feel safe? That's not a life. There's a beautiful quote by J.K. Rowling where she said, the true failure is, I'm going to butcher it. The true failure is something about is avoiding failing altogether, because then you fail by default. I'll put the quote in the description below because it's so much better than what I just said. But when you avoid all of these things that you could be doing because you want to avoid failing, or you want to avoid unsafety, you want to avoid being judged, you want to avoid losing people, whatever it is, you fail by default because you miss out on the life that is for you. You miss out on the magic that is for you. You miss out on the feelings that you'll get to experience, good, bad, ugly, divine. You miss out on them because you don't move towards your path because you're trying to just stay safe in place. And I get it. When you've been through so much, it's hard to trust your unknown path because of where it might have already led you to and through. But I know you've had beautiful things happen along the way. I know you've had so many beautiful outcomes, whether they're happening right now or maybe they've happened in the past and you might have forgotten about them. This is why gratitude is great. It's why meditation practice is helpful, because then you can allow yourself to spend more time with the reminding yourself of all the great things that have happened, as opposed to worrying about all the things that aren't working right now. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in for that safety? And what has to happen for you to stop? What has to happen? And can you be okay that maybe some things will be different, that maybe some things will change, that maybe some things outwardly might look less safe or less comfortable, but you're the one who decides what anything feels like at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of you, unless of course you're in a physically abusive situation. I always get people in the comments being like, well, what about this? I get it. Cool. Let's get you out of that. And for everyone else, you determine how you feel about situations. You determine whether you feel safe. You determine whether you feel unsafe. You determine whether you feel comfortable or uncomfortable. You determine whether you feel happy or sad. You choose it every single moment by looking at the world around you and going, this is how I'm going to feel about this. Well, what if you chose differently? What if you decided not to look for a while? What if you decided to make a new decision on how you're going to feel despite what's happening outside of you? Because there's a feeling that you're feeling inside. There's a niggling, there's a tug, there's something that's been happening. There's something that's been happening. Maybe it's gentle, maybe it's the whisper. Those of you who have heard me talk about the analogy of the feather, the brick, and the truck. Sometimes it's just a tickle of a feather trying to guide you in a new direction. But if you keep ignoring it, if you keep playing small, if you keep dimming yourself, if you keep staying comfortable, you might get the brick to the head. The brick to the head might be an uncomfortable situation with people in your lives. It might be losing money. It might be a breakup. It might be sickness. But you want to start moving when you get one of those two niggles, because you don't want to get hit by the truck. Right? You don't want to wait and ignore your guidance, your intuition for so long that you get hit by a truck trying to wake you up. Can you see that light? That sunshine, sunset. We got there eventually. That is the sunset over the hills. I just don't want to give away my actual location. privacy. Gotta think about when you're a lady. Palm trees and sun. What can you do differently to move towards the purpose that you know is yours? The path that you know is yours, even if it's clouded by mist and fog like it is outside the car right now. But look how beautiful that is. Look at the lights amongst it. What if what's there is so much better than what's been or what is right now? And the only thing that's stopping you from getting there is playing small and playing safe because you're scared. Because you don't want it to all go wrong again. You don't want people to screw you over again. You don't want people to hurt you again. You don't want to be left alone again. But babe, you're already alone. If you are being less of who you are, if you are hiding parts of yourself to play it safe, you're already alone. Because you're surrounding yourself with people who don't even know you. They don't even know you. So what could you start doing differently? Could you choose to trust that you are safe, guided, and supported and protected no matter what, even if there's no one in your life? Could you start telling that story and allow it to come true? Because the stories that you tell in your mind are what is going to play out as evidence in your reality. It is law, it is science, it is also spirituality. It all aligns in every field of study that what we think and the story that we tell manifests in reality. It affects our physical body. It affects the things that we notice day to day. It affects the things that we attract to us. So how can you tell a different story? How can you show yourself that you're safe because you already are, because you've got you? How can you stop dimming yourself to fit in? And how can you start taking that warrior that you've pushed down and start to bring him or her to the surface in a new way, in a new season, in a new beautiful energetic manifestation, to rise and to lead, because we freaking need it. We freaking need you in this world to do that, to show others how to do that. Okay? I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this sunset because it is beautiful. And I'll see you guys all on the next one. Mwah.